Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. After watching the tape, there was a ton of positive. We won the turnover battle, won the explosion battle, and it's the first time in my career whenever you win the turnover battle and win the explosion battle, you lose the football game. I thought offensively we made tremendous strides on third down, right over 50%. In the red area, we were 6 of 7. We blocked a punt, and with all that being said, when you win the daily double, which is the turnover battle, the explosion battle, you're generally 85% win. And then when you block a punt, the odds go up even more. But when you evaluate the tape, there was some critical errors in the wrong times, plain and simple. The snap over the head, just like I said, no one wanted to do that whatsoever. The missed field goal, that was a 10-point swing in the first half. We had some critical penalties in 2-minute situations on defense, which kept the drives alive. And whenever you're on a 2-point play from the 18-yard line, the statistical odds of converting on that are about slim to zero, and we just didn't finish. The quarterback made a hell of a throw at that time, and so the moral of the story is there were some really, really positive things, and what we have to do as coaches and players is get rid of the critical errors that are happening absolutely at the perfect wrong timing.
You mentioned all the positives there. What's the overall morale like, physically, mentally, emotionally, coming off a game that goes 4.5 hours like that?
Yeah, that was a long stretch, to say the least. I think our kids battled. I thought we executed on offense. In the second half, we finally looked like the way that we've been seeing our team execute, which was a huge positive. We threw 5 touchdown passes, ran 1. I think Matt was Player of the Week in the MAC. So there was a lot of positive, and just like I said, if you really watch the tape, there was a lot of good things done in all 3 phases. It's just we have got to get rid of those critical errors at the absolute wrong time, and that's what happened, plain and simple.
Your offensive line took some hits from a health standpoint. I feel like what overall status for those guys looking to return this week?
Yeah, we're banged up on offense, and that's another reason that I was happy with our team. We're down 2 running backs, essentially. We're down a few linemen. We're down last game 2 wide receivers, all who one was a starter and one has a significant role on our team. And I thought they battled, and I thought guys stepped up. And just like I said, I thought in the second half we finally saw what our offense can do. We had explosion plays. We ran the ball consistently. We stayed on the field on third down. We executed in the red. And so there was some positives from that end for sure.
I know there was some emphasis on those first 4 coming into this season. Halfway through, when you look at Marshall and what they were able to do on the road in South Bend, how do you kind of regroup and prepare for them for South Bend?
Well, at the beginning of the season, not even in the beginning of the season, whenever we started our prep work in the wintertime and in the summertime for these 4 opponents, we all thought that arguably Marshall could be the best team that we play all year long. They're fast. They went down the transfer portal in some areas where they had some holes, and they're, to be quite honest with you, in all 3 phases they're loaded. They're a very good football team. It doesn't shock you one bit that they beat Notre Dame. And it just shows you right now in college football, it doesn't matter what emblem's on your helmet right now. It really doesn't, just because of how crazy the transfer portal is. If we would have pulled this game out, everyone would have went, oh my gosh, I can't believe you went into 7 overtimes with EKU. Well, go watch the Eastern Michigan tape. Go watch that tape against EKU, and they're a good football team. I mean, they would be highly competitive in our conference, and so the emblem on the helmet now doesn't matter. So what we got to do is we got to play our best football. They've got more talent than we do. There's no question about that. But we got to do all the little things really well to give ourselves a chance.
You mentioned the positives. Defensively, you guys got home 6 times on their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about just the front seven, how impressed you are with their play, at least especially.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part. When you look at the explosion plays that EKU had, there were minimal. We had 13 on offense. I want to say on defense it was 6. So it wasn't even close. There were sacks. And like I said, I've never really seen this ever before in terms of we made absolutely the wrong mistakes absolutely at the wrong time. And that's what cost us, plain and simple.
Were you pleased with the secondary play? I mean, obviously you knew coming in that they were going to throw the ball a lot. I guess how would you assess kind of how your secondary matched up with their?
I thought they did quite well at times. There's no doubt about it. I thought they made some big plays, and the quarterback's good. I mean, that quarterback is he's a very good football player. He's accurate. The throw that he made on the 2-point play, it was absolutely perfect. You couldn't have thrown a better ball, and the guys were in position to make the play, and the fact of the matter is we just didn't, but I don't know if you could have. I mean, the guy went up, he high pointed the ball. The throw, if it was 1 inch right or left, the ball's batted down. So they made a hell of a play, and to their credit.
And you mentioned, obviously, that the mistakes at the most inopportune times. How do you guys, I guess, correct that? Is that something that is coached, or is that just something with repetition? How does that kind of go about fixing that?
Well, it's all repetition. It's constantly reinforcing that in practice, and not jumping off sides on 3rd down. We had 2 critical penalties of jumping off sides on 3rd down. Did those guys want to jump off sides? No, but they did, and it really hurt us in terms of being able to stop them in those 2-minute drives.
Any more questions for Coach?
I'll say just to talk about March, you mentioned obviously how talented they are, but what do you feel is going to be the biggest key on Saturday in terms of being competitive with them?
We got to do a lot right now. I mean, it feels just looking at their talent, this is a equivalent to playing a Big Ten team. I mean, you don't walk into South Bend, Indiana, and dominate the game the way they did if you're just average. And that was not just a fluke. This Marshall team is a very, very good football team. They've got a ton of talent. They play extremely hard. To their coach's credit, I mean, they play hard in all 3 phases. And, you're going to have to do and make some big plays on offense and hang on defense and find a way to, just like we've been doing on special teams, to make a play that's a difference maker in the game.
Coach, can you talk about Payshawn blocking and playing how big has he been for your team?
And that was great. I mean, Payshawn, but again, going back to he does everything right in practice all the time. And when you get players that do that all the time, good things are going to happen to them. It's just not coincidence that he's blocking punts on Saturday. He does it during the week. He's full speed every single play. He's in here doing extra. And, those type of players always find a way to be successful. And I'm really, really excited about him and happy for him. And he's been doing a great job.
You mentioned offensively, obviously you felt like this team, or that unit, is finally playing the way you guys were expecting to preseason. Obviously with Matt winning MAC Player of the Year, Player of the Week. How do they continue, now that they have got that performance under their belt, how do they continue to move that forward next week?
I think consistency. That's what we need to do. We were as consistent as we've been during training camp. I didn't think we played worth a damn offensively against UCLA. The beginning of the first half, I didn't think we protected the passer well, and we didn't run the ball consistently. And then I think they responded really well in the second half. We got to see how they can play. We've got explosive players on the perimeter. Thank goodness we've got depth at running back, considering our situation of having our top 2 guys out. So I thought JP and Nick Mosley and obviously TK really stepped up, but thank goodness we've got some depth at that position, because it's really, really hard, particularly in the MAC, to overcome your first 2 running backs being out.
In terms of the overall message to the team, I mean, are these guys understanding that it's still early, there's a lot of football left to play, or did you have to say anything to them after the loss? How would you characterize just kind of morale?
Well, we want to win every game, and you wanted to, just from how crazy, you're down 14. Finally, we've came back. I think that's the first time we've ever come back since I've been here, and they came back. They stayed together. They found a way, and you were really hoping that the game would have been over in regulation, the 38-31, but it wasn't. And I thought they battled back and forth great in the 2-point plays. And they see it on tape. I mean, they see themselves doing a lot of good things, but they also go, gosh, if we wouldn't have made that one critical error at that one particular moment, this game's over. And that's where we need to take the next step, no question about it. But I also was encouraged them, and Alex Bear encouraged them. If you go back and you look in 2015 when the last time we won the championship, we were 1-3 in the first 4 games. We let one slip away in 2015 and found a way to win the Mid-American Championship. Kent State, whenever they made a run at it on our side, they were 1-3 starting out. It's a challenge in the MAC. There's no doubt about it, and you have to find a way to improve. Try to sneak as many wins as you possibly can in these first 4 games, and then go play for the MAC championship. That's why we do what we do. But obviously, we want to win them all. But considering some of the teams that you play, that's not always the case.
I did want to ask, because 7 overtimes is obviously a long game. It's a lot of back and forth, like you mentioned. I mean, do you guys prep for that many 2-point plays? Is that something you kind of just come up with?
No, we absolutely did. We were down to 1 more left, to be quite honest with you, and then we were in pure scramble mode in terms of. I went to Max and I go, Max, we've got 1 more in our backpack on the right hash. If not, let's get our best short yardage plays together, goal line plays together, and so we were preparing for if we had to exhaust that last one. But we do, though. We practiced, and it was obvious we executed them all. We practiced them hard. We practiced them hard in the summertime for situations like that.